And welcome to this weekend's Behind the Mitten. John Gonzalez along with Amy Sherman having a great time traveling the state of Michigan, checking out restaurants as we always do, and maybe going to a brewery or two, right, Amy?
Once in a while, we do stop at a brewery. Not very often, maybe twice a day.
Well, I am keeping track of how many breweries I go to this year, just for the fun of it.
I kind of have been too, actually.
Yeah, just to see where we've gone throughout the month. So I think I'm at 10 right now, so that's not too bad.
I am into a few more.
You're probably a little further ahead of me. But one of our favorite places in Michigan, though, that we had a good time. And by the way, before we get to telling you where we're going to right now, the whole show, folks, why don't you tune in. We've got a lot in store for you today. We're going to tell you about a cool place in northern Michigan, a cool new restaurant in Grand Rapids, and who knows what else we have in store, right, Amy?
That's right. You know, one thing we will do for sure, we always do it, is Beer of the Week. But you got to stay tuned. That's a little bit later in the show. But like you said, we do go to a lot of breweries. We do spend our time traveling mostly for mlive.com and writing about our adventures around there. So we get to visit all the communities that are listening to us right now on a regular basis. I feel pretty lucky. Like, we make regular stops in Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, Flint, Lansing, Muskegon, Tawas Bay, Manistee,
Hart,
our newest affiliate, Port Huron. We say welcome. So we're very lucky. But one place I don't get to go to enough is one of our favorite breweries, Stormcloud, up in Frankfort. It's an amazing place. We in fact voted it the best new brewery in Michigan in 2016. So we're lucky to have our next guest with us, head brewer Brian Confer. Welcome to Behind the Mitten.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're great. We always love to have you on. It's always fun to hear what's happening up in Frankfort. You guys are known mostly as a summer resort destination because you're located right on Lake Michigan, kind of near Sleeping Bear Dunes. But you guys are kicking it year-round at Stormcloud.
Yeah, we try to keep a lot of activity happening in the winter. We do stay pretty darn busy in the winter, particularly on the weekends. So always trying to dream up great beers and new events for people to come out and see us. And happy to have you come visit, Amy. It's only 2.5 hours north of you.
Don't tempt me, Brian.
and there's like 3 breweries, at least 3 you can stop at on the way.
This is true. I need to map my trip out better, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Brian, what I love that what you and Rick have done for the community there is you really have created a community gathering place. Even if you're not a big beer fan, you offer a lot of different things out there. But can you give folks a sense, because we do have listeners from all over the state, like Amy said, from Saginaw and Flint, that may not be familiar with where Frankfort is located and why it's such a big deal that this little sleepy community has become a destination.
Sure. Yeah, Frankfort's a great town. We're about an hour west of Traverse City, almost directly west. Right on the shore of Lake Michigan. So we're west of Traverse City and just about 20 minutes south of the National Lakeshore, the Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore. Really, the entryway into the lakeshore is just 15 minutes north of us at the Old Indian Trail, which is a fantastic hiking trail. And then, of course, just 2 blocks west of the brewery is just an awesome beach.
55 steps, I counted.
Yeah, it's hard to beat that beach. Now 55 steps. I didn't know that.
You had to think about that, didn't you? And why he knew that.
Well, I was going to make a joke about it might be 70 steps if you're swerving, but
oh, maybe it's shorter distance than that. But really, though, I mean, when you guys came on board, what was it, 3 years ago now? 4 years ago?
I think I've lost track of time. I think we're moving into our 5th season.
That sounds about right.
I think this next summer will be our 5th summer.
Yeah, and I remember coming out there right when you first opened, and then Amy and I have been there many times after that, is that you really have transformed that community. Now you have folks coming into your brewery from all over the state.
Yeah, actually, my business partner, Rick, spends a lot of time at the pub shaking hands and talking to people. He was telling me last week there was a couple that drove here from Flint, and that's why they left town. They got in their car and drove straight to Stormcloud, had lunch and some beers, and hung around for a little bit, and then headed back. And another couple did the same thing from somewhere in the Muskegon area, I believe. So it's doable, Amy.
It is totally doable. One of the things I like about what you guys do in the winter is you have all sorts of different things to draw people to come out and help them embrace winter, which is one of John and I's quotes of the year, is embracing winter in Michigan. And you guys have really taken that to heart, whether it's your special movie series or the fact that you can go curling at the brewery. Tell us a little bit about that kind of stuff and how you came up with them.
Yeah, the curling thing has been fantastic. A lot of things we started doing were sort of blurted out as a joke. Like, wouldn't it be funny if we had a curling rink in the lot next door? Now there's a curling rink in the lot next door. Or sheet. I guess it's a sheet, not a rink. Yeah, so, you blurt out these ideas that seem ridiculous, and then you just think, well, it is kind of ridiculous, but it's also like a really good idea. And, so we started building a curling sheet next door, or in the lot next door, and it's all come together. The Grand Traverse Curling Club comes out and does Learn to Curls sessions on Saturdays, and then we have leagues which fill up instantly this winter, and they curl against each other on Sundays, and they get pretty competitive.
I bet they do.
Yeah,
I think that's fantastic, though, what you guys are doing, but really is outside of that, the beer fans. Right, Amy, you and I are big fans of the liquid.
Liquid has to be good, otherwise don't bother. But yeah, tell us a little bit about the beer that you're making up there.
Sure. We're brewing Belgian-style ales, although we're starting to branch out a little bit here and there.
What?
Not much, though. We do a range of traditional Belgian-style beers, and then we do a whole range of American ales, but most of the time they're brewed with our house Belgian yeast. And then a lot of those are standards, IPAs, double IPA, that kind of thing. And then we do mix up the board fairly regularly with specialty one-offs that don't make it very far out of the brewery. We've been at capacity for a long time, and we get a lot of requests for those beers, but we can't even make enough for just the pub. So
Not yet.
Not yet, but you did do a big expansion over 2017 that I think you're still implementing at this time.
Well, actually, I'm talking to you from my nice little private lab in the new production facility, and I'm looking out at the guys putting together parts and pieces. We have a 20-barrel brew house in place that we purchased from Sprinkman out of Wisconsin, a fantastic company. And actually, we do have a couple brews in under our belt. We're about to do our third one tomorrow, and we're just tweaking the numbers and dialing things in, and we're expecting a pretty solid result tomorrow.
That's exciting. That's going to really be a game changer. Do you think people will start to see Stormcloud beer more in distribution across the state?
Yeah, so we're actually opening up the Grand Rapids market, mid-February in kegs, and then hopefully early March in 12-ounce cans for our two flagships. And then we'll also distribute, early March we'll be in 12-ounce cans across northern Michigan. So this is new for us, having it in a package, anything other than a keg.
That's kind of a big deal.
It's pretty exciting. I'm staring out at 2 truckloads of cans.
It's got to be a little intimidating, all those cans, too. Like, now I have to fill them.
It was on the first day, and now I'm looking at them as a welcome challenge to get these things filled up with the best beer we can make.
Hashtag fill those cans.
Yep.
I like that hashtag. That's good. That's good.
Hey, you can use that.
Thanks, John. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. All right, Brian Confer from Stormcloud Brewing. If people want to get information about coming up to visit you in Frankfort or about your beers that they can find in certain places around the state, where should they go?
Yeah, you're going to take a look at our website, stormcloudbrewing.com. That's the best place to start. It also has links to our Facebook page, which we do keep pretty active and updated on an hourly basis. You're not going to get outdated information on there. We keep our Untapped page updated on a practically hourly basis as well. And And I believe we're active on Twitter and there's some Instagram. As well. Yep, I wish I had time to
not a problem
to peruse all of those. Right. All right. Well, Brian, we're going to have you back on Behind the Mitten because you're going to help us pick Beer of the Week. So everybody should stay tuned for that. But coming up next, we're going to talk to our friends from a great restaurant in Grand Rapids. So you want to stay tuned to Behind the Mitten.
Hey, this is Brian Confer, head brewer and co-owner up at Stormcloud Brewing Company. We're up in Frankfort, Michigan, and as I've said to Amy, only 2.5 hours north of Grand Rapids. And you are listening to Behind the Mitten.
And welcome back to Behind the Mitten. John Gonzalez along with Amy Sherman. Got to thank Amy, our last guest, Brian Confer from Stormcloud Brewing Company. What a great guy. What a great place.
We love that place, obviously, because we picked it as one of Michigan's best new breweries in 2016. And we stand by that statement. We love their beer. We love all the people, and we're happy to hear about their expansion and all the cool events they have going on this winter. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the show.
Yeah, I know we didn't get to talk to them a lot about the food, but I tell you what, they have some great food there as well. Some great trails. Definitely get yourself out to Stormcloud. All right, now, Amy, you brought in, speaking of food, you brought in a couple guys here in Grand Rapids that know a little bit about food.
Along with some head cheese, John. I brought in my friends from the Sovengard, which is a great restaurant on the west side of Grand Rapids. You may have read about it in some of my posts on mlive.com, but I've got owner Rick Musciano with me and Chef Patrick Conrad with me. Guys, welcome to Behind the Mitten.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Well, I just love your restaurant, but I feel like you are a hidden gem in Grand Rapids because, Rick, you are literally a hidden restaurant, kind of.
Yeah, for sure. We have this quirky, cool west side garden level or basement layer. Yes, layer of deliciousness, delicious food and beer.
That's a good tagline. Could you please make me a T-shirt? But you are located kind of downstairs off of one of the busiest strips on the west side of Grand Rapids. So you do have to look for you a little bit, but then you come out into this beautiful oasis of food.
Yeah, we have a beer garden that's sort of tucked away behind this historic building that we're in. So we're currently in the lower level. We have a full-service restaurant and kitchen that operates out of that level. Beer garden in the back. And then, as we talked, we're going to be expanding and doing a dining room upstairs. Moving on
You're
up.
coming up onto the light. I like this,
right.
Which is pretty exciting. It's going to give you a lot more space to spread your love. Now, Chef Patrick, you guys make some pretty unique food for Grand Rapids, right?
Yes, we do. We source a lot of local and sustainable products, and we try to work very seasonally in what we prepare.
And what type of food are you making? Because I think that is one of the main draws. It's something you don't normally see here in Grand Rapids.
Well, we pull our inspiration from Scandinavian cooking and the whole New Nordic movement of working in season, knowing your farmers, and being really conscious of what you're putting on a plate.
So some of the things you can enjoy, John, one is head cheese, correct?
Yeah, we have some right here in front of us. It's fantastic. But I was talking to a chef here off the air. A couple times that I've been in, it's always been with big group, in a group setting, and things get a little hectic and all these things come out, right? And so I want to come back and just sit down and actually look at the menu. How does the menu break down for you guys?
For us, the menu has a couple different areas. There's an area of shared plates that are great to have with those large groups that you bring in. Our smørrebrød section is a translation of bread and butter, where you get a great piece of bread and some quality meats, and it's an open-faced sandwich, ubiquitous to that cuisine. And then we also have some really great dinners as well.
Like? Everything. Putting me on the spot, Gonzo.
Yeah, we had a smoked chicken half for a while there that was really well received. Kielbasa, sauerkraut. We kind of run the gamut of local fresh food, pork schnitzels, things that are great in the West Michigan scene, but kind of harken back to the history of the way we ate.
Gonzo, I've been there many times, and I also have never looked at the menu. Because really, honestly, the best thing to do is just to say to your server, hey, just bring me out some food.
You know what? Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, not only here at Sovengard, but if you're going to a new place and you ask the server, you ask the chef, what does the chef recommend? Tell them your taste. That's always fun.
It's fun, and they know. I mean, they've eaten everything on the menu. Not that there's something bad on the menu, but they know what's new or exciting. Or if you say, oh, I really love beets, or I don't eat pork, or whatever, they can steer you the right way. I mean, that's what they do. And if you trust them, I mean, if you're in a good restaurant, they're gonna lead you the right way usually. Right. I mean, I have looked at your menu. I just have never actually ordered off.
If you're just tuning in again, we were talking to